David Duke, top of the arc. Here's Pip, guarded by Gillespie. Steps back, spins, fires! Woo! Pip Gates!
They get another crack. They'll go to their senior. And he lays it in. Two big buckets by Alpha Diallo.
He crushed it. It's a grand slam.
Down by 3. 5 seconds. Reeves for the tie. He got it.
Welcome back to another episode of Behind the Dish Sports. I'm Ben Velati. I'm here with Robbie Cannon and Matt Marasco. Guys, how you doing?
Good, Ben. How about you?
Good, thanks. I think we're all hanging in there. And, not too much has gone down since the last episode we had, but except for, one pretty major thing happened, and it happened today. And let me tell you, it's pretty exciting if you're a Chiefs fan, and it's pretty what's the word? I mean, I don't want to say absurd, but I guess unbelievable is a good one to put it. Patrick Mahomes, 10-year extension with the Chiefs. Do I dare say how much money?
Yeah, go for it. I mean, I'll fumble over that number if I try to say it.
Yeah, basically $500 million. It could be worth that. $503 million. Originally, it was reported it was like 480. Still absurd. But yeah, he could make up to $503 million. And he'll be playing until 2031. That's guaranteed. I mean, just wow. That's the only thing that comes to mind when I think of that right now.
I mean, so I'll start us off. I think if I'm a Chiefs fan, obviously the first thing that your first emotion is probably excitement because you have your franchise quarterback just won your Super Bowl and you have him through 2031. The next thing that comes to mind after I sit back and think about, well, the year 2031 is just so far away. I'm a little scared because of that. That is a lot of money to lock in with a quarterback who hasn't had a serious injury, but he's had some injury issues already in his career.
I mean, the good news is he's only 24 years old. So
I know, and I mean, you see guys like Brady and Rodgers still playing at a very elite level at whatever. He'll be 35 at the end of the deal, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd be a little scared, a little nervous. Just what if he has an Alex Smith injury? That hurts. That hurts.
Yeah, Robbie, I couldn't agree more. I mean, you look at this deal, right? And a couple things. Obviously, if you're a Chiefs fan, your immediate reaction is that's awesome. But a couple things, you mentioned injuries. They do have an injury clause in there, so that's some protection for the Chiefs. But the way I look at it, too, like you said, that's a lot of money tied up in one player. And we've seen, obviously, he's been incredible, right? But he's had the league's best weapons around him his entire career, which certainly helps, right? He makes all these incredible throws, but that's because he has guys getting open down the field. You can't keep everybody, especially if you have that much of your money tied up in one player in a salary cap league. So I'm interested to see how he does down the line when guys like Tyreek Hill, Sammy Watkins, players like that, his weapons around him start to one by one kind of fade away and jump ship because they're all going to get their huge contracts. And it's going to be interesting to see how Kansas City moving forward will pick and choose, who stays, who goes, who's willing to take a pay cut to stay, and to see if he can really have the level of success that he's had over this short period of time over the next 11 years.
Yeah, it's definitely a great way to look at it. I mean, and I'll just start off where you guys are both starting off. I mean, again, I couldn't agree more. If you're a Chiefs fan, it's fantastic. You got that franchise quarterback only being 24 years old. And then like Matt said, there is that injury clause. It's still worth I think if he gets injured, he can't finish the contract.
It's a lot of money guaranteed.
I think it's $140 million guaranteed.
That's what I saw too.
So, I mean, I agree. The injuries thing, that's a worry for me. But overall, I mean, I completely agree, Matt, that, guys are going to leave and get their paydays. But I think as long – you don't even need, huge talented – you don't need a big talented guy. You can get pretty much anyone. Anyone that's fast, I think, is going to work with Mahomes' game. I mean, he can make the throws to pretty much anyone. And, I mean, his throws are up there in the best, if not the best right now. But around the league and Twitter, you see a lot of the guys, they're just happy for him, which is great to see. You love support like that. Obviously, if you're a player, you want players to get more money because that means more money for you. But one thing that stuck out to me was, I'm looking through, I forget who said it, but one of the NFL players goes, it's fitting that Patrick Mahomes gets a baseball contract because, you see guys like Trout and Garrett Cole getting this type of money. And, Mahomes having baseball roots with his dad playing in college and all that. It is fitting. And it just kind of makes me think more about the business side and the money side that, maybe obviously the NFL does have the salary cap, but maybe, guys that are the franchise type players, the quarterbacks or just the key roles are going to start making more money in the future. I mean, we already talking about Dak Prescott getting a lot of money, and now Mahomes just comes out with this extension. So who knows how much money is going to be just handed to these guys in the future.
Yeah, I mean, it's if you're another player in the league, if you're a fan of the league, you got to be excited about this just because it sets the bar that much higher, it sets the standard that much higher for these other guys. I saw a tweet. It was like Darren Ravel. He did the math, or someone did the math for him. Over the next, assuming that he gets the full amount of money in the contract, Mahomes is making over $100,000 a day for the next 10 years.
Jeez, that's nuts.
That's crazy. And the craziest part about it too is you see that contract, and a lot of it is, like you mentioned, guys, a lot of it is guaranteed money. It's not a super incentive heavy contract because you see those big numbers a lot of times. You think, oh yeah, that's incentive heavy. It's if I lead the league in touchdown passes, if I win a super, you know what I mean? Those
a little bit like Newton's contract with the Pats.
Exactly, like Newton's contract. You see $7.5 million, but that's if he hits every incentive all along the way.
Right.
When the base is so low, but with Mahomes, it is a lot of guaranteed money. It's going to be interesting, and for a guy that relies so much on his athleticism, it's going to be interesting to see how he ages.
Yeah.
As this contract ages, is this going to look like an Alex Rodriguez type contract down the line? Because he makes money by reading defenses, sitting in the pocket, and I hate to say it, dinking and dunking his way down the field. 7 yards here, 15 yards here, 5 yards here, all the way down. And he just doesn't make any mistakes. Mahomes is a gunslinger. He's athletic. He gets outside the pocket. I would compare him more to like a Big Ben or a player like that kind of style of play, where not necessarily a run-first quarterback, but a guy who relies on his mobility to be effective. So it's going to be interesting to see, as the hits pile up and, as he starts, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, if he's going to be able to maintain this level of productivity.
Yeah, that's for sure a concern. And I'm thinking just, if I'm the Chiefs, I'm just hoping that he can turn into like the Rodgers type quarterback when he becomes a little older. I mean, he already has the great arm. Everyone's seen it. He can make the sidearm throws and all like that, all the flashy stuff. I mean, that translates into arm strength, obviously, if he can make those throws. I think their hope is just if he loses mobility or gets injured, he can just rely on, having that super strong arm. But how many Super Bowls do you think are going to come out of this contract extension?
So he's got one already. So not including the one that he has right now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say he gets. He gets one more.
One more?
It's winning a Super Bowl ain't easy.
No, it's not.
It ain't easy.
I was honestly thinking two. I was thinking two more. I don't really have a reason why I think it's going to be two instead of one. But just the first thing that came to mind was he's going to get two more.
What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, so I would have to look. My gut reaction is over the next 11 years.
Yeah.
I like two or three. I could see one. I could see none. A lot of it depends on coaching. How long does Andy Reid keep coaching? A lot of it depends on when are these guys? When is Tyreek Hill due for a new deal? When is Sammy Watkins due for a new deal? But yeah, I say two or no more than three. I'd say two or three, but I would be surprised by one. Again, like you said, Robbie, it's hard to win a Super Bowl.
So hard. The Pats have made it look so easy, but
oh yeah,
I mean
that. So Super Bowl is a team effort. I think this contract is definitely more, like we said, a lot of guaranteed money. It's definitely more, one person individual for him. So how many MVPs do you think will come out of this?
Look, I mean, I don't. Again, that's tough. And you got a guy like Lamar Jackson. I'll give him 2 MVPs. I'll give him 2 MVPs
Two?
out of it.
All right.
I'll
Honestly,
go. I'll go 3 MVPs.
3.
Yeah.
All right. Did I mean, like, I don't know.
Maybe more, I don't know.
It's hard to say because, there is guys like Lamar Jackson that are, and guys are training more that way. But I mean, Mahomes definitely has the talent. I think he definitely gets at least one. I know that for sure. I think he's guaranteed at least one, I got to say.
Yeah.
I'm thinking he's going to get 3 too, honestly.
Okay. I see. There's just so many guys. Like I look at like Russell Wilson. He still doesn't have one. Like it's easier to win an MVP than probably the Super Bowl just because Super Bowl means a lot more. But like the MVP, man, that's it. And it helps that only quarterbacks win it for the 99% of the time.
Yeah.
But
I just think it helps that he's only 24 right now. I think that's really why. I think I can see him winning 2 or 3. But
Yeah.
do you guys have anything else you want to add on Patrick Mahomes?
Yeah, the other thing I was going to add, you guys mentioned Lamar Jackson, and I think that kind of segues into an interesting point where we were talking about how many Super Bowls are they going to win? How many are they, one, do you think he's going to make more? And 2, who do you think challenges them in the AFC? It is not like back in the day you had such a deep AFC where you had the Brady-led Patriots, Big Ben-led Steelers in their heyday. You had a Peyton Manning-led Colts. You had a very good Ravens team with that defense. The AFC is not that deep right now, so I could see him kind of cruising to a couple to get into the Super Bowl. Now the NFC is a different animal, but who do you see kind of developing as the big foil to Mahomes, his arch rival going forward? Who's going to be the Manning to his Brady?
well, this might sound nuts, but I mean, one, this doesn't sound too crazy, but I think that the Pats are still strong for at least the next couple of years. This year with Newton, and they still have a damn good defense. But I look at a lot of guys. I look at more like we're talking. He's got a 10-year. He's got 11 years to go here. I'm looking at a guy like Tua. I'm looking at a guy like Trevor Lawrence, who's not even in the NFL yet.
Yeah.
I'm looking at a Joe Burrow. I'm looking at these younger guys and saying, well, what Pat Mahomes was last year, these guys could be 3 years from now.
Yeah.
So those are kind of the guys. I will say right now, looking at the landscape, yeah, I wouldn't see anyone challenging him. It's more to me like, can one of those guys become an absolute superstar?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with that take for sure. My gut, I don't think it's going to happen, but I'd love to see Baker compete. I mean, obviously a huge Baker guy. I love me some Baker Mayfield, but I mean, I don't think we've seen the best out of Baker. I think that's for sure. Is he going to be on a Mahomes level? No, but I think if they really put some things together, I think he can be, at least in the upcoming years, they can be a challenging team for the Chiefs. But otherwise, I think it's just going to be the guys like Burrow and Trevor Lawrence, and hopefully Tua, who I think if stays healthy is going to be one of the best quarterbacks at the draft class. I know we talked about that a while back, but I still believe that.
I agree. And then he's not in the AFC, but he's in the NFC.
Yeah,
he's my dark horse for. Give me him for MVP. Give me Kyler Murray. Watch out for him with D-Hop this year. I like the Cardinals. That's kind of off topic. I know we're talking Mahomes, but if we were talking young QBs, I had to give Kyler a mention.
No, sure. He's nasty. Kyler's nasty. I'm surprised neither of you guys mentioned Lamar. I mean, I feel like I personally don't think Lamar's. I just don't think he's gonna last because running back careers don't last long. And let's be honest, he's not a thrower. He's a run-first quarterback. But, in the immediate future, I think that Ravens team is going to be the team that gives the Chiefs the biggest run for their money. And it's going to be interesting to see, you got Herbert is going to be in his division out in San Diego or LA.
Yeah, LA. Yeah.
The Raiders.
I don't love that kid that much, though.
No, I don't either. I think he's going to be a bust. I don't trust anybody out of the Pac-12. But it'll be interesting to see, too, maybe, like you said, maybe Trevor Lawrence ends up in the AFC. Maybe, you have a team like Oakland or Las Vegas now, maybe they decide to be real bad for a season and go get Trevor Lawrence and, then they'll be in the Chiefs division. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
For sure. So let's go into our next topic now. MLB started the training camp. July 1st was their first workouts. Actually, no, July 1st they were tested. They pretty much started July 2nd. But speaking of being tested, that is where a lot of things are starting to go wrong, specifically today and yesterday. They're testing players for COVID. There's been a handful of guys that have tested positive for COVID, which you absolutely hate to see and, don't wish upon anyone. Guys like Freddie Freeman, a couple Red Sox relievers like Darwin Hernandez, guys like that. Freddie Freeman, I think, was the biggest name, but still, you don't want it for anyone. And on top of that, today specifically, there were a lot of reports and a lot of players speaking out about it. Tests are not coming back as quickly as promised, or the results are not even being sent to the testing areas or wherever they find out the results fast enough. Specifically with the Astros, Oakland A's, and maybe a couple other teams, but like teams like that today, they completely shut down camp, say we're not playing until we get the results, which I think that's a good thing to do. But MLB released a statement. They said they were prepared, and 4th of July weekend made it crazy or something like that, and pretty much just no excuse for what's going on. It needs to be better. But what has happened now is a lot of players, specifically Sean Doolittle and guys like that, are starting to speak out saying, it's not just us that needs to change in the MLB. It's the whole public that, needs to really rally together, wear their masks and all that. So this, it just got me thinking, like, every day I get more and more excited for baseball as it's coming up. Like today, the schedules were released, but every day I'm more, I'm just starting to think there's not really a chance.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they'll play. They're gonna figure out a way. They have to make it work at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's gonna be a weird year. You have guys David Price, probably the biggest name so far to just opt out of the season. He's like, nah, I'm good. Somebody else did too.
Ian Desmond, not a big name, but his was a big exit as he used it as a platform. Well, he first off, it was health concerns, but then he took the time to use it as a platform to speak out for not only the Black Lives Matter movement, but just all racial injustice and all of that. And a really heartfelt Instagram post that, if you took the time to read it, it really hit home. And he talked a lot about clubhouse issues and stuff that needs to change in the future. And it just brought attention to that. But yeah, he is another guy that opted out. Mike Leake opted out, who was on the Diamondbacks, Ryan Zimmerman, Joe Ross with the Nationals, and not necessarily a big name for the Braves anymore. Maybe back in the day, Felix Hernandez opted out, and going along with that, they lost another veteran player today in Nick Markakis, as he opted out of his contract. So players are opting out left and right. There's other guys thinking about it too.
Yeah, I would say if the Mike Trout domino falls, which I saw his name, he's said he has like a tough decision to make or whatever. If that domino falls, they might all come crashing down.
Yeah. It's a lot of guys like Mike Trout, Chris Bryant, guys who either have babies on the way or have newborns, or just like young kids at home, or just families in general. They're nervous about the health of their family, either when they come back from the season or if their family like happens to come out and visit them. I mean, I don't really know what the restrictions are like, but just a lot of guys like that, and they say they don't necessarily feel safe. I know some teams are taking more precautions than others. The Red Sox completely redid their locker room, which could be a whole, not locker room. They redid the suites into locker rooms, which would be a whole nother discussion just how cool that is. But yeah, it's just interesting to see. And I hope the season happens. But at this point, I mean, I'm up in the air still.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I think that they have to do something. At this point, they've committed to a season. You'll get enough guys who will be willing to play, even if it ends up just being a bunch of guys that were supposed to be a part of the taxi squad that were never supposed to play.
Right.
They'll play. They'll figure out a way to make it work, just because you don't have a choice at this point. One, you've said you're going to play. Two, you have the NBA and the NHL ready to go in the middle of your season. Right. So you need to put a product out on the field. Obviously, for baseball, you hope that it's going to be the best product possible. As a baseball fan, that's what I want to see. I don't want to see a bunch of taxi squad guys going at it every night, but it's better than nothing at this point. And after the absolute disaster that the whole break was with the disputes over the contracts and the prorated deals and stuff like that, at this point, after you go through all that to then just not play and have that all that be for nothing, would just be, that would just be biggest nightmare for the sport of baseball.
I completely agree. And at the end of the day, the discussions, I think all the players and all the owners have learned, the discussion should have been more about the safety and health of the players instead about money, because they all would have felt a lot safer going in, and, you know, a lot of more precautions could have been taken to prevent some guys testing. I mean, obviously there's the asymptomatic guys that you don't know have it, but I think a lot of steps could have been taken to prevent this, you know, a lot of things moving, like who can go where after spring training, can you work out with other guys, stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. But in hope that baseball does come back, I don't have Yes Network where the Yankees play, but they put on a scrimmage, not a scrimmage, well, I guess you could call it a scrimmage, an inter squad work game between, you know, I call it the A squad and the B squad today. It was on Yes Network, and the Twitter was all about that. Rookie pitcher Clark Schmidt got to show what he was all about, and that's what I'm excited for, is all the rookie guys or top prospects that are finally going to get a chance in this short season to show who they are, and just, you know, hopefully shed light on what the game of baseball could be and how exciting and fun it could be for these young guys as the game gets younger, more youthful, and more exciting. So if the season does happen, that's what I'm looking forward to.
I like that. I like that positivity out of you. With that, speaking of the Yankees, this wasn't even on the outline, but like it totally, like, I had to say something because you just reminded me when you said the Yankees. How about that dude, Tanaka, just taking one off the dome and like walking around like the next day?
It was like, I think it came out, it was over 100 miles per hour off the bat directly into his head. Keep in mind, it was Giancarlo Stanton, one of the biggest guys in the league, strongest dudes. I mean, wow. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw the video, right?
I didn't see the video. I saw like the numbers. It was like one of the numbers was like it came off like 112 miles per hour back.
I saw the video the day it happened. So I don't remember who posted it, just random Twitter account. But I mean, it was hard to watch because, I mean, obviously Tanaka getting hit in the head was hard to watch, but it was hard to watch Giancarlo Stanton as he realized what he just did.
Yeah. No, I couldn't bring myself to watch that. I'd be too freaked out.
He was released from the hospital, and he's on concussion protocol, but he is okay at this point. So thank God for that.
Yeah, legit. I saw that like he was just out of the hospital like within the day, and I was like, that's a miracle.
He walked himself off the field after he got hit. I mean, he was on the ground for a couple of minutes, but he did walk himself off, so that's good. And like we said, he was released from the hospital. But yeah, that was scary.
Yeah,
maybe I don't give these baseball players enough credit for their toughness.
I mean, he refused an L screen. He was offered an L screen, which is like pretty standard issue for live VP against your own team, because, you know, why risk it?
Yeah.
And he was just like, no, I'm all about the real stuff. And I mean, he paid the price, but you got to admire that what he was trying to do there.
I bet he'll take an L screen next time.
I bet so. I bet he will.
He doesn't have the reflexes of our guy Mason catching the comebackers in the cage like that.
Exactly. That's no L screen right there too.
Yeah, but the difference is he caught it.
Yeah.
With his forehead.
I think not to take anything away from our guy Mace, but I think the main difference was Giancarlo Stanton wasn't up at bat.
Yeah, that's fair. Ball probably jumped off his bat pretty fast.
Yeah. But yeah, so I don't know what's going to happen with the Major League season, but like I said, if it happens, I'm excited for it. And today the schedule was released. Our Sox look like they have a pretty easy start to the schedule, starting off with the O's, the Orioles. Not a great squad right there.
Oh, baby.
Yeah. So there's that. And in other news of sports coming back, I think it was today. It was either today or late yesterday. The NHL officially released a statement saying they have agreed on terms and they will be doing their playoff tournament, which is a 24-team tournament. And they're hoping to start July 13th, I think. I think it's supposed to go July 13th to August 2nd. So that, I mean, I'm not a huge hockey guy, but I do watch the playoffs. And I think this is going to be the most exciting hockey there is. I mean, pretty much every team in it has got a chance, as it's just like, you know, a normal tournament. A lot of teams lose momentum, which stinks, but a lot of the younger teams are going to be ready to go. But then again, a lot of the older teams don't have to play as many games. So it's anyone's game.
Yeah, I'm fired up to have hockey back. I love playoff hockey. You got your hub cities in Toronto and Edmonton. Go Bees. Bees are nasty this year. Yeah. This helps them, I think, in a couple different ways. They have chemistry. This team has been together for forever. So you're not going to be worried about guys coming back after not playing with each other and having to reestablish chemistry. It's an older team. keeps the legs fresh. You know, you got guys like Chara, old guy, Bergeron's getting up there. So I think this plays right into their hands. If Tuca can just clutch up one season, they could win a cup, but we'll see what happens.
Lucky, you know, the season, this is almost like the reset. So maybe Tuca will just be like, oh, it's game time. It's a tournament from the start. Get a little different mindset in him. Because, I mean, he has shown flashes of being a great goalie as much as he's shown that, you know, sometimes he's not capable, but he is a great goalie. And I think if you can turn it on, I think it's really going to come down to Tuca, honestly, for the Bruins. Because, like you said, they got a squad that's been playing together for a long time. A lot of guys that were hot before. So I think it's going to come down to Tuca, honestly.
Yeah, I don't watch too much hockey, but playoffs come around, I tune into the Bees. That's about all I do. So we'll see. I don't know. Tuca, who do we got? We got Marchand still or no?
Yeah, we got Marshy. We have pretty much the whole team.
Pasternak.
It is pretty.
Oh,
yes.
He was on
we got
before the season ended. I hope that he continues what he was on.
Yeah, no, we'll see. I know that they were wicked hot before the season got shut down. So hopefully they can keep that going and win a Stanley Cup.
Yeah. I want a parade for any Boston team. But kind of just going off the tournament track, you see, like, the NHL has this tournament, MLB has their 60-game season, and the NBA has, you know, the 8 games, then their tournament. If you could pick, like, a structure for a league coming back, pretty much just any sport, would you pick, you know, like the tournament structure, or are you trying to play a shortened season?
I love the tournament structure. I think that's going to be absolutely electric. You get a bunch of teams in the playoffs that aren't supposed to be there. It's just going to be awesome. I can't wait to watch that tournament.
Yeah, I agree. Tournament structure. And I feel bad for the MLB because, like, realistically, like, you can't just do a tournament. They never started their season. Like, the other ones had it easy to just say we're going to do a tournament. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think the MLB, I mean, obviously we've talked about it before, and at this point it's just kind of public knowledge that they could have started the season a lot earlier and they could have been the main focus and had a lot more games. But I think with now, let's just say they've done the best that they could to make it a structure aside from all the stupid negotiations. But I would have loved to see them just say, you know what, the season doesn't count at all. We're just going to have a thriller tournament, kind of like one of the proposals I think we might have talked about, like 20 games, something or whatever, and then everyone makes the playoffs. I don't know, but I completely agree. The tournament structure is the way to go in a time like this. Obviously, it's easier for NBA and NHL as they already had their season or most of it. But, yeah, I'm excited for these tournaments.
Speaking of schedules released, too, we had the NBA schedules released after last show, before this show.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at the Celtics schedule. It's not bad.
No.
I think they could go 7-1. What do you guys think?
I mean, I agree. It's gonna be tough. It's all about. So I think that guys like Carson Edwards, I think that everybody's gonna be going deep into their bench, especially in those first 8 games where we're really not playing for that much in the first 8 games. It's more just getting our feet under us because some teams out west are playing for a playoff spot, but we're not playing for much. We're playing like the difference of 2 seed or 3 seed. Like, but yeah, I can see us going 6-2, 7-1, no doubt.
Yeah, I looked at the schedule. I instantly thought 6-2, 7-1. I would love to see it. Don't think it's going to happen, but hey, the name of the game is just to win as many games as possible. So it could happen.
I mean, who do we lose to other than the Bucks? And I think, too, I know we don't have a ton to play for, but to be able to jump up – well, yeah, no, you're right, because it would be so we don't have a ton to play for because we'll dodge Milwaukee in the first round either way. I guess there's no real home court. How are they doing? Like, are they going to do anything for home court?
That much into it,
It's actually super cool. So they like ship down courts from like – so, like, the Celtics Court, they're going to put together and, like, so you'll have, like, the Celtics logo and, like, all that.
That's pretty sweet.
It's like, kind of cool, actually.
That's kind of sick. But I don't know how much that'll help, but it'll look sick on TV.
Yeah, it's definitely not going to help at all. But, like, I guess, yeah. They're not doing anything that I know of, at least, that gives, like, advantage to the home team.
They're doing the artificial crowd noise. I wonder if, like, one team has like a different chant, or like if they'll try and like mimic different things in different stadiums, or if it's just going to be a generic crowd noise for everyone. I think that's something they could do, but I also know a lot of players are not in favor of the crowd noise being pumped in.
Yes.
Go ahead, Matt.
I was just gonna say that's what I was thinking about with the crowd noise. Like if you're, the higher seed, do they pump in that fake crowd noise more for you than the other team? Like
I don't know.
you hit a big three, do they pump up the crowd noise, or the other team hits a big three, they pull it way back? I mean, they could mess around with that and kind of have a good time, but I also think that it starts getting a little crazy, and then that's going to be the big controversy. Oh, they had the crowd noise too loud when the away team was shooting a free throw or whatever. Like, I don't know. It's going to be
that'll be interesting for sure.
And then the one other thing that we didn't talk about in the NBA is Adam Silver, who we've all professed that he's the best commissioner in sports, but he's pushing hard to have a delay on the thing so that when the players are swearing or whatever, we can't hear it.
Oh, right.
And I want that so bad. I want to be able to hear these dudes in an empty gym
for sure,
talking, communicating, and getting pissed off.
I think everyone's ideal situation would have been no crowd noise at all and just raw, trash talk and see what's going down on the court. I think that's for any sport that they wanted that. And I think the NBA would have been really interesting to hear, as there's a lot of huge personalities that go at it.
Legit, it would have been so good. The perfect sport for it too.
Yeah, that would have been everybody but the NBA public relations people would have absolutely loved to be able to hear what was going on on that court.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But that's pretty much all I got. The one other thing, I guess my one thing to watch this week is UFC. It's out in Dana White's island.
The fight,
they got a big fight. Yeah, the fight island, which is on Twitter at least, the pictures. Oh, looks beautiful. We'll see how good it is. I might be watching the UFC Saturday night. I haven't decided yet.
Yeah. Just one quick note, stealing it from whoever hosts Last Week Tonight. I don't even know who hosts that show, but they were making jokes about how he named it Fight Island. You could have done so many more creative names, and that it literally could be UFC and then spell it like SEA. There's so many better names, but
great point.
I think I'll probably do that. It's gonna be sick. It's gonna be cool to see how they have it set up. I might watch that.
It will be cool. I got nothing else. I don't know if you guys want to add anything else, but I think we hit on everything we had today. As I said, there wasn't a ton of stuff that happened, but I think we hit on all the big stuff that did and the really interesting and important stuff. So
yeah, I think for next week's show we should have a lot more to talk about. It should be a pretty active week in the sports world. So
yeah, and as we grow closer to the season starting, we can start to form some predictions. Maybe we'll have a great show for next week. So thank you guys for tuning in. This has been Behind Under Sports. I'm Ben Bellotti here with Robbie Cannon and Matt Rasco. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next week.